Hello everyone. Today I want to introduce for all of you about Mr. Kent. He from Canada and he's have expertise in television and movie. Today he share for all of you and all the people here his experience in this field. Hello Ken.
Hello.
How long have you been here?
I've been back for over 6 months now.
Yeah, and let's introduce a little bit about yourself.
I'm from Toronto, Canada.
Yeah.
I've been in the film industry since I graduated from Ryerson.
Yeah.
That was in '93.
Yeah.
So about 20, I don't know, probably about a year or two after I graduated, I've been working basically full-time in the film industry.
Oh.
So for about 22 years, maybe.
Yeah. What are the reasons you come here and decide to stay here?
Well, fortunately, I was invited by VTV Television to. They flew me from Canada to train them in graphic design for promotions, and then I guess they liked what I did, so they asked me if I could teach advanced promotions, and this is basically dealing with news, trailers, how to conceive an idea from A to Z.
Yeah.
And so I was very lucky, very fortunate. I got to meet a lot of talented people at VTV.
Yeah.
And so I decided to stay here for 3 months to get an understanding of the Vietnamese culture and so forth. So I went home, and then about a month later, they asked me to come back and teach some more. So I taught sound design, and I really got a greater understanding of the Vietnamese culture. And so I went back to work for about 9 months in Canada, and I decided to come back here on my own and see if I could get things happening here in Vietnam. And I'm very excited to be back. Like I said, I've been back here for about 6 months.
Yes. And how do you feel about the movie and television industries in Vietnam now?
Well, it's almost like it's at an earlier time for Canada, right?
Yeah.
It's growing, and the advantage is I think Vietnam, Southeast Asia, but mostly Vietnam, can embrace all the new technology, embrace it faster than in North America. There's virtual reality, there's augmented reality. There's all the digital media. I remember about 8-9 years ago, I had a seminar, and I stood up in front of 200 people, and I said, "Film is dead," and we were launching digital cinema, and everybody laughed when I said, "Film is dead." And then 3 years later, 4 years later, Kodak shut down their office in Toronto. Now people are still shooting on film, but it's been taken over by sensors and new technology, and it's also being put into the hands of more people, right? And this allows people in Vietnam to go out and make movies, to make projects, to reach out and do anything they want, because with all this technology, it's the prices come down. I'm just amazed. Every day I find out new ideas. There's a brand new camera system with 5 cameras, a desktop switcher. You can do keys and graphics and everything, and it's all for under $20,000. It's all Wi-Fi, and this is being delivered. And this would have cost $5 million 10 years ago, and it's full HD. And it's what's great about it is it's being put into the hands of everybody, so everybody now can make a film if they want to. So I'm here taking my experience, and I have a background in art direction, mostly in post-production, but as a producer, because I've worked in so many different aspects of film, that I feel that I can be here and work with the Vietnamese people and learn how to work with them, and maybe I can help them tell a story, take my experience and build up the industry inside of Vietnam, because it's still in its infancy.
Yeah.
And I think it could I think it's going to boom.
Yeah.
Vietnam is what the 8th or 9th fastest growing economy in the world.
Yeah.
Right, with a 7.2 GDP.
Yeah.
So you don't have landlines like in North America, in Canada. We're still holding on to our old technology.
Yeah.
We still have phones.
Yeah.
And we still have television.
Yeah.
But everything is going over the top. Everything is going digital, online.
Yeah.
And I think this is the place to move it forward.
Yeah. I teaching in the multimedia 6 years ago to now, and I doing this field 12 years, and I feel very lucky for me to meet you, and especially I have some students and my friends like he from educational and growth, and he starts to do and applies the multimedia in teaching and educational. And today he want to ask you some question, and you can share some of your experience. Okay, invite.
Well, if I can help.
Oh, nice to meet you, Mr. Kent. Coming here is kind of like an honor for me already to meet someone who is as much experienced as you guys. And I would like to ask some questions about the multimedia and television as such. So, how do you come up with the idea for advertising or promotions videos?
Well, that's a big question. How do you come up with the idea? First of all, what usually people ask me are how much does it cost to do a commercial? Mm-hmm. And I go, well, you've heard the expression, how long is a piece of string? It really depends on the dynamic of the commercial, what you're selling. So a lot of the times I've done hundreds of commercials, and I finally come down to, and I say, okay, first of all, what's your budget? What's your market? I have to figure out exactly who you're going to sell to, mm-hmm. right? So there aren't any easy answers. I don't have any easy answers. I don't have the answer to tell you how I come up with a creative. I work with writers. I love working with a good copywriter, someone that can think imaginatively. But the process of coming up, how do I be creative today, is really hard.
Yes.
Right? So when I'm speaking at a university or I'm working on myself or work with other people, I come up with ways of getting rid of my inhibitions, where I use my subconscious to tell it. So understand your product. Just like when you're making a movie, understand your story. Right? How can you understand, how can you express something if you don't know it? Otherwise it'll just be it'll be bad.
Yeah.
So I tell everyone, understand it completely, then sit down and just write as much as you can. Don't censor yourself, just write. And then when you're finished,
yes.
you got a whole bunch of crazy thoughts. Then you go and you circle everything and you just narrow it all down. So you're editing it down.
Yes.
And then you have all of these sort of weird ideas, right?
Yeah.
And then it starts, it's your foundation. And then I use that. Mm-hmm. And then I come up with an emotional context. I always say if you want to sell a restaurant,
yes.
you want to advertise a restaurant, you don't show the food.
Yeah.
You show the emotional context of the food.
Yes.
Right? How is this making me happy? How, if I come in and somebody, I want to show that this is going to change their life. This is going to make them happy. So I don't want to show the food, and I don't want to show anything else other than their happiness.
Thank you.
Okay. In Vietnam, with the process, we make the idea options based on the brief. In the brief, they showcase the missions, message, multimedia or media. What's the media it is or the media, and beside that, it's like how to measure,
Well,
and the best one is the money. How much to invest based on that?
Yeah, I mean, okay, you get a brief. Therefore, if you're working on an existing brand,
Yeah.
you got to work with that brand. You can't just come out of left field
Yeah.
and start coming up with a whole new brand identity.
Yeah.
Right? You can augment it a little bit, but you still have to follow that message.
Yeah.
Right? It's a language.
Yeah.
Right? Like I said before, Coca-Cola
Yeah.
has a language.
Yeah.
Beer commercials have a language,
Yeah.
and it's millions of dollars over years and years and years,
yeah,
and you
yeah.
have to follow that message.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you have to imitate
Yeah.
what was done in the past, but you have to follow it.
Yeah.
You
Otherwise,
otherwise,
they have to build like a brand characteristic. And,
Yeah, like
and
a
transfer
characteristic.
to the audience. Huh?
yes, and so because that brand identity
Yeah.
is really important. I
Yeah.
mean, I remember working years ago, and the color of a logo
Yeah.
was a pale blue, and theirs was a dark blue, and they freaked out on me. They said, "How dare you?" And I'm going, "Well, this is and this is like television," and they freaked out at me because they're watching it on a bad monitor,
Yeah.
and they're all hyper and sensitive about their brand. So I had to bring them into the office and say,
Yeah.
"Listen, this is actually what it looks like."
Yeah.
So, and this is a $20,000 monitor,
Yeah.
right? So we are representing your brand correctly.
Yeah.
But this was very important to them
Yeah.
because how dare you change the color
Yeah.
of their logo?
Yeah.
I mean, that's simple, even like a little shift.
Yeah.
So you can imagine if you don't follow that message of
Because
that
that's
brand.
like a brand's color guideline. Guideline.
Yeah, I mean, even on printing, you have Pantene colors. They got to get
Yeah.
it right.
Yeah.
So I'm using that analogy because it's not just the color,
Yeah.
but the emotion, the
Yeah.
context, everything
Yeah.
about that brand
Yeah.
has to carry through,
Yeah.
right? But you can still add icing on the cake,
Yeah.
or sweeten it, or
Yeah.
or new ways of looking at that message.
Yeah.
And that's what you come down to. That's what I do. Most of the time, I like surrounding myself with talented people.
Yeah.
I like surrounding myself with good designers,
Yeah.
good writers, good
Yeah.
copywriters.
Yeah.
I hire great cinematographers,
Yeah.
lighting guys, sound guys,
Yeah.
and if I understand the product
Yeah.
and I surround myself with the talented people,
Yeah.
then we're gonna create some amazing results.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah. You mean like when we make television commercial, we make the emotions or we make the feelings. Or profits based on the products, and we don't show the ingredients, or we don't show like functional of the products, like just make the problem and solution.
well,
you
yeah,
know.
I mean, you look at award-winning. See, I find there's an analogy I like to use. It's like peeling away an onion.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't want to show what's in the onion. You want to peel away the layers.
Yeah. Layer.
Right, and that keeps the audience award-winning commercials.
Yeah.
They're not point of purchase. They don't show the product.
Yeah.
Here it is. They're slowly revealing a story. There's a story.
Yeah,
Within
they
that
do,
30
yeah.
seconds, there's
Yeah.
a story. And if you can captivate the audience
Yeah.
and take them on that 30-second journey,
Yeah.
then you are
You mean we make it's like a plot in the structure.
exactly.
Plot, huh? Yeah.
It's got to have a beginning, middle, and end. And in the past, filmmaking would start off with an establishing shot, big wide shot.
Yeah.
Well, these things have changed.
Yeah.
I don't want to show the finished picture.
Yeah.
I want to start off with a close-up of some abstract shot,
Yes.
so that the audience goes, what are we looking at?
Yeah.
And then maybe somebody's playing with their cup,
Yeah.
right? And you have a close-up of that. Then it reveals something else,
Yes.
right? So it's slowly revealing. Now that's a style.
Yeah. I know.
It's a
make
style, but
like
I'm not saying it's absolute. But
Yeah.
that's how when I plan a shot list or I'm editing it in my mind, because that's my background is editing. So I try to see it as an editor and how I would want to reveal it.
Yeah.
So, as to is there a certain way? Is there a textbook
Yeah.
method of coming up with creative ideas? No,
Yeah.
because I don't have all the answers. I have answers. You have answers. One is not necessarily better than the other,
Yeah.
right? There are. I don't like imitation.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
I find a lot of the work here
Yeah.
that I've seen on television.
Yeah. And you know,
Is a lot of
yeah.
like it's a lot of the commercials seem very similar.
Yeah.
And it's because maybe you don't want in Vietnam. Maybe there's a fear of getting too crazy.
Yeah.
And you want to have it focused. Like
Yeah.
I ask people in Vietnam, I said, okay, so what do you want to do
Yeah.
for a career? And they say, I want to open up a coffee shop.
Yeah.
And I say, but there's coffee shops everywhere.
Yeah.
And they go, well, that's why I want to open up a coffee shop.
Yeah.
And it comes down to the same as when I'm going to do a commercial.
Yeah.
What type of commercial are you going to do?
Yeah.
Well, I want to do one like that.
Yeah.
I said, why? And they say, because they're there.
Yeah.
That's the way they're done.
Yeah.
So it's not bad, but I'm trying to promote the idea that, okay, come up with something a little more, not clever for clever's sake,
Yeah.
but just come up with an emotional context, something that you can grab your teeth in. People are engaged,
Yeah.
and I think that's what makes the difference.
Yeah. I saw in television commercial, television commercial, they use some techniques or ways like problem and solutions, slide life, cartoons, demonstration, unique selling propositions, demonstration, testimonial or endorsements, even like music business or cartoon or character to represent voice. But now a little bit change. They focus on online, especially on social network.
Right.
And they build some very good stories and just not focus on the products. Like he want to make some viral clip, how to share and how to make the content. He ask you some questions about
well, let me just add to that, because like even in North America,
Yeah.
I always thought this was odd. You would find a director,
Yeah.
and this director would be good at directing kids,
Yeah.
or this director would be good at product,
Yes.
or this director would be good at real estate,
Yeah.
or automobile.
Yeah.
Right? There's shooters that just shoot cars
Yeah.
because they're really good at it. But I'm going, well, if they're really good at shooting cars, why can't they be good at shooting kids?
Yeah.
So what I'm getting at is that we sort of jam ourselves
Yeah.
into these roles, right? And we never move beyond them.
Yeah.
Or it just takes a long time. You
Yeah.
become a specialist,
Yeah.
even in a narrow field as in marketing and advertising.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yes. How about you? Yeah.
Just for something about like viral videos, the thing we separate between television and YouTube is in YouTube we have 4 seconds or 5 seconds clips, and then they can skip it as in like advertising anyway. So what does it make to let people focus on your ads or your promotion videos or your viral video in general, if you have to post that on Facebook or Vimeo or YouTube?
well, when you look at it, even a 30-second commercial now for television is being removed. They're putting in 10-second commercials. They're little bumpers and little teasers. So you got to say a message in 10 seconds, because first of all, it's cheaper, and people are just skipping over. People don't they don't want to watch it. So I'm certainly not an expert in social media and YouTube, but my first thoughts and what I've done in the past is make sure that you got them within that 4 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Give them a bang, slap them in the face, wake them up. And I read some statistics that actually, if you get their attention, right?
Yeah.
That they will watch the commercial. And this is why there's people are saying, well, television is decreasing and it's fragmenting and everything's going over the top for on the internet. But in actual fact, there's more content that has to be created.
Yes.
More commercial content. So this is actually not a negative thing.
Yeah.
This is actually a good thing, because we, you, new artists, old artists, all this content needs to be delivered, because it's being fragmented and sent all over the world.
Yes.
And you, I mean, how many over-the-top television stations are there now? There's 20,000 of them,
Yeah.
right? That and then and YouTube channels and Facebook pages and everybody wants to be a star.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of noise that you got to cut through.
Yes.
So how do you cut through that noise? Well, I don't have the exact answer, but especially when you're dealing with 4 seconds of capturing somebody's attention, that 4 seconds, you better grab them. And if you grab them, right, you have them. Because not like television where you go off and you make a coffee,
Yes.
right? I mean, that's why, you think of, that's why television commercials are louder.
Yes.
Because so you can hear them when you go to the kitchen,
That's true.
right? So, and they're trying to stop that, but it never works.
Yeah, in my opinion, I saw, in Vietnam, something like this can viral. Like, very emotional stories, like a very struggle life or something, or, modern and child, or, father or, and child, or something like that, on, building very emotional stories. The second one is something like strange or crazy thing.
Well, yeah, I mean,
or the first one is like a humorous. Yeah.
Everybody, okay, well, just look at Facebook.
Yeah.
What are people sharing?
Yeah.
Cute cats doing funny things, dogs spinning around. I mean, this is like, oh, that's nice. So you have a cute baby laughing, or you see a polar bear doing something, and this is the stuff that's being shared.
Yeah.
Because we don't necessarily want to watch the news.
Yeah.
We want to be entertained. And also, who wants to watch anything? I mean, if you post anything longer than a minute on Facebook, it doesn't get watched.
Yeah.
So you got to get in there, say it, out.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why I'm lazy. I don't want to watch something like a 10-minute piece, right? Because I lose my interest. I got stuff to do.
Yeah.
Right? But what's crazy is that people keep going back to social media. People are getting their entertainment from YouTube.
Yeah.
They're getting their entertainment off of all these different websites and it's television stations worldwide are freaking out.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do.
Yeah, I do that. I saw the purpose of the television commercial or viral clip is building image for brands or call to action, calls their audience or potential customer actions based on our commercial, and very difficult to attract the people on the viral clip, because the viral clip is just for fun, or
Right.
it's how to combine call to action or brand image into the story.
Well, I'm not sure if I get your question, but you literally you either kick somebody in the face with your message,
Yeah.
or you have it very subtle, almost like
Touching. Yeah.
yeah, it's almost like a game. Going back to, if you can connect to their emotion,
Yeah.
right? The cute teddy bear.
Yeah.
Okay, or look at, I mean, I don't want to sound sexist, but like this happens all the time. Put a sexy, beautiful people up there,
Yeah. Yeah. We
right?
that's the
I mean, this is
human
why. This is why sexy, beautiful people are all over television,
Yeah.
right? Because people like watching And why are they watching them? Because they are trying to be, they feel that they are a part of their story.
Yeah, in
So-
our field we call that the human interest.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and I tell everybody, you have to, in everything you do, in a commercial, in news, in a movie, you have to allow the audience to participate.
Yeah. Okay.
You have to take them on a journey.
Yeah.
You have to, your characters have to start here and then they grow,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's this is standard 101,
Yeah.
right? And it comes down to commercials as well,
Yeah.
right? You have to have a process
Yeah.
where you see a journey,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And then if you can come up with an imaginative way of showing that journey
Yeah.
while also showing the product, while also maintaining the brand,
Yeah.
well, you know, it's quite genius
Yeah.
when you
mean-
if you
yeah.
do it well,
Yeah.
right? But most of the stuff you see on television is just regurgitation.
Yeah.
It's just the same old crap because they don't want to be risky.
Yeah.
They don't want to, you know, upset anybody.
Out of the box.
Yeah. I mean, that's an older term, outside the box, but it is correct. If you can figure out a way where you can connect all these dots, okay, and capture the audience's attention,
Yeah.
then you created some magic,
Yeah.
right? And that's why people say, well, you're not doing feature films and you're not doing documentaries and there's people that just specialize on commercials, and
mean-
they're
yeah.
passionate about
Yeah.
it because they're creating genius.
Yeah, you mean we make just 30, even just 20 seconds like a movie. We use techniques like planting and payoff, recognition and reveals, and antagonist, protagonist, and like incidents,
Right.
yeah, incidents and midpoints and climax and reveals or something like that in the journeys.
Well, there's I remember I had an English teacher and he said crafting a short story is so much more difficult
Yes.
than making a novel.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost
Yeah,
the same way
yeah.
with a commercial. There's more production value in that 30 seconds, right, than in a feature film,
Yeah.
right? There's more focus and energy within that 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to I mean, you're saying so much, right? So that is exciting.
Yeah. And how about compare between humor ways in and emotional ways, and on the viral method.
Make them cry, make them laugh,
Yeah.
make them upset.
Yeah.
Make them angry.
Yeah.
Depends on what you're selling. I mean, depends on what you're trying to communicate.
Yeah.
But it's got to do something. You
Yeah.
got to have an emotion.
Yeah.
If you're just showing, like I said, if you want to show a restaurant, don't show the food.
Yeah.
Show the emotion of enjoying the food.
Yes.
Why am I going to this restaurant? Why am I drinking Coca-Cola?
By
Because it makes me
profits.
happy.
Yeah.
Or I can look cool like that. Why am I drinking Heineken beer?
Yeah.
Well, so that I can travel around the world and meet with amazing people
Yeah.
and be cool.
Yeah. That's what I think.
I think it's
in Vietnam, some products like a medicine or something like for health supplemental.
Right.
They have to reason to believe. They have to showcase some ingredients or something like that to make the profits for the in Vietnam I feel they believe in that's more like creative.
then the emo. Yeah. Well, yeah. I've noticed that a lot in Vietnam where they want to. What are you getting out of this product?
Yeah.
What are the benefits? What are the health benefits? You're getting your vitamin D. You're getting this, right? You're gonna get shiny teeth.
Yeah.
Right.
How about your products and how to difficult to attract the audience or potential customer, and then how do you feel in your your job, and how to difficult to attract?
Well, the thing is, as I said before, I work in educational, it's an online education group anyway. And the difficulty when we actually have filming people talking and then creating online courses, it's more like, the content is a bit boring and then people can, get distracted after a while when they study the course. So, what do you have? What's your opinion about how to make people
Attend.
get, how to make people attention about your online courses or
Well,
educational?
like education is pretty dry. So again, you have to. Okay, I mean, if somebody said, okay, what are we going to do to do a commercial or a marketing strategy or a branding strategy for an online school? I would say I would have to break it apart. I would have to say, okay, who's your target market? Why is your school better? Is it going to help the person? Are they going to get a better job? Are they going to get access to better universities? Are they? So you have to know your product. You have to again know your product,
Yes, it is.
what you're selling, what aspect that you're trying to promote. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you can then connect an emotional context to this, so instead of I could do testimonials and show all the people who have done this,
Yes.
or I could show a couple walking along a beach, and if you learn English education, then all of a sudden you get freedom,
Yes.
freedom to choose. So you can you show that emotional context of what it's like to be free, or
Yes.
what's it like to enjoy your life. Instead of, because if you don't take this course, then maybe you are going to suffer for the rest of your life,
Yeah.
and because you don't have the advantages. So you highlight these. So that's an angle,
Yes,
just an angle.
yes.
Yeah,
Or you can
you
go
can
another
just,
direction.
Like compare between front
Before and after.
yeah, before
This
and
is,
after. Yeah,
you know,
the results, get the results. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, so if you, I mean, you can do a side by side comparison, all that stuff. But again, try to connect it to some emotional connection that if I take this course,
Yeah.
I'm going to be a beautiful, knowledgeable, successful person, and my life is going to change, and it's going to be beautiful, and I'm going to be happy, because we all want to be happy. I'm going to get married. I'm going to have children. I'm going to buy a house.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a vacation.
The benefits, benefit. Yeah.
All the benefits.
Yeah, benefits.
And even though and this is still an abstraction.
Yeah.
It's still an emotional context.
Yeah.
It's not real,
Yeah.
but you're connecting the brand to the emotion,
Yes.
and that's what you want to do.
Yeah, yeah. It's nice. And Ken, this is one very important. If you want to make the professional television commercial or viral, you have to, big crew and have a big budget. But the people want to do it by themselves or very small, low budget. How they can do it? Especially it's like some group they can make good stories or good good viral clip and put it on, and how they can do it to more professional.
Well, when I was doing theater,
Yeah.
and I would design a stage, like a set.
Yeah.
There was this. I was told this once. You can either throw money
Yeah.
at the set and make it big and grand,
Yeah.
or you can throw ideas.
Yeah.
Right? It's easy to throw money at the problem. Right?
Yeah.
It's hard to throw ideas.
Yeah.
You don't have to go and spend millions of dollars on a campaign.
Yeah.
Some of the best campaigns that I've worked on were really low budgets,
Yeah.
clever.
Yeah.
You can't pinch your budget down so badly that you have unskilled cameramen, unskilled editors.
Yeah.
You have to have people who know their craft,
Yeah.
right? But you don't have to throw oodles of money at it,
Yeah.
right? And because it's easy, that's an easy solution.
Yeah.
So I would recommend throwing ideas.
Yeah.
ideas at it, and when you think you have an idea, throw it out.
Yeah.
Start another one.
And now, there was, just people in Vietnam, they do it by themselves. Just only one DSLR cam, digital, single display, yeah, and a couple computer and a little bit lighting, and they want to make the film.
That's the advantage. I mean, look, when I went to film school,
yeah,
we're taking 16mm film or Bell and Howell, and we're winding it up, and we're shooting it, we're switching our lens. Then we have to take that, offload it, take it to the lab, spend $200 just to have the film processed.
Yeah.
Then we're getting it back, and then we have to cut it all up and piece it together, and then we have to make an interneg and an interpositive, and then then we transfer it another technique. We do a digital transfer, right, on a scanner.
Telesin.
So it's just now I can make a commercial with this phone.
Yes.
Right, I can go out and make a commercial.
Yeah.
Right, if I want to. And people are doing it.
Yeah, but this is unprofessional. How they can do it looks more professional. When we filming, you just film and
well,
and
I mean that's you go to film school.
Yeah.
You take courses.
Learn online. Yeah?
You learn online. You learn online. You watch.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, I don't think a perfect picture is necessarily the best picture.
Yeah.
You've heard the expression to deconstruct the picture, to break it down, to make it raw, to make it again have a language.
Yes.
Make a statement.
Yeah.
Right. When I'm instructing some of my students on their picture, I say no, put a little flare up here. Break this down here. Why is it so crisp and clean?
Yeah.
Let's break it down. Let's make it raw. Make it emotional. Make it say something.
Yeah.
I don't have to hear the sound, and it should tell me something.
Yeah.
Right. So, understanding your craft and putting up the lights and exposing it correctly.
Yeah.
Right. I love shallow depths of field. Right. I like things like that. Like, we can shoot and everything is exposed.
Yeah.
But why do we shoot in a shallow depth?
Yeah.
So that our picture is isolated or it's just slightly out of focus.
Yeah.
Why do we do that? Because there's an emotional. There's a language that's unwritten. That we feel it.
Yeah.
And that's that's where the art form is.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah. Okay. You mean in
you don't need big budgets.
Yeah. You mean in 4 3 years time, it's like production, pre-production, production, post-production, and distribution.
Yes.
And how about we can build emotional for all of the crew, and how to direct them to make to make that emotion in our message into the story.
How do you bring a message within the story of a commercial?
Yeah, hold up the crew.
Well, like I was saying before, there's many techniques of trying to push that story.
For example, post production, how to use Final Cut Pro, how to use Premiere and After Effects to combine together and push it like a video clip or
how to. Those are buttons.
Concept.
Like people say, well, I'm an Avid user, or I'm a Final Cut 10 user, or I'm this user, or whatever user.
Yeah.
And it's just buttons.
Yeah.
It's like whether or not you write.
Button,
They're just a bunch of buttons. And there's rules you have to follow when you're editing. You have to understand what a jump cut is. You have to understand what a match cut is. You have to understand.
Yeah, cross the line.
You have to understand what you're doing in order to break the rules.
Yeah.
Right. I've shown people a movie I did, and we're crossing the 180-degree axis.
Yeah.
And they put their hands up and they go, "You're crossing the 180-degree axis." And I'm going, "Yes.
Yeah.
I know that."
Yeah.
But does it work for you? He goes, "Well, yeah, but you did it, and that's a no-no." And I'm going, But is it wrong? Does it hurt your mind?
Yeah.
No. But I just noticed because they wanna. It's almost like they're so set in their rules that they don't want to deviate from them in any way whatsoever.
Yeah.
So understand your rules and then break them.
Yeah.
But don't break them for the sake of breaking them.
Yeah.
I always say if you're gonna move your camera, have a reason.
Yeah.
If you're gonna I hate dissolves.
Yeah.
Right? In an edit. Right? You dissolve usually because it's a poor cut.
Yeah, I know that.
The best transition is a cut.
Yeah. Cut to cut. Yeah.
Cut to cut.
Yeah.
Right? And or action on action, static to static. These are our basic rules of editing.
Yeah.
And then when I'm seeing other people's work and I'm seeing all these dissolves, I'm going, get rid of the dissolves. I mean, what are you? Is this a bad?
I think we have to understand the language and have a reason to use the transition.
When you do anything, you have a reason. When you move the camera, when you have a shaky camera, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
like a point of view. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, we already know what a dissolve is.
Yeah.
A passage of time.
Yeah.
All kinds of different reasons.
Yeah.
So there's already a language there.
Yeah.
We know what a dissolve is. We know what an establishing shot is.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Well, this is the setting of this environment.
Yeah.
So everything you do it's because there's all this. I think it's semiotics or the meaning behind what is unwritten.
Yeah.
Right. So there's meaning behind all these transitions.
Yeah.
And you have to show them.
Yeah.
And you have to use them right.
Yeah.
It's like using a question mark when you should be using an exclamation mark.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's telling and directing the audience what to think.
Not the people really want to use the After Effects or C40 to ask a VFX visual effect on the how to do it correct.
Yeah, visual effects are I mean everything's moving towards visual effects, which I kind of don't like. You might as well just make it CG.
Yeah.
I mean, I like working with real people, real environments, real atmospheres, but now you can just hook it up to a green screen. Even green screens are being obsolete with the Litro image of and all that stuff. There's all these new techniques coming out where you don't even need a green screen anymore.
Yes.
Right? It creates a composite, an alpha channel, and it does it for you instantaneously.
Yeah, I know that.
So it really depends on the project, right? If you need to composite all these, really interesting things in there, then you're computer generated. You open up After Effects or the various compositing tools out there, and then you put it together. But don't do this just to, if you can shoot it real.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a return to that right now with feature films. People are trying to make it real.
Yeah.
Because when I watch the most expensive film, and with all the CG in it, I still see CG.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Back to educational field, and how do you apply the techniques and especially in multimedia into education? I mean, how to make the course more interesting.
The course.
Like that. And any person with the
understanding how visual effects works.
Yeah.
And understanding the tools that you can use, because it's not just CG and special effects. You actually use After Effects and other tools, other editing tools. To create again that look.
Yeah.
Right. I tell everyone you got to color your picture.
Yeah.
Right. So if you could create a window here and understand how you're using all the technology.
Yeah.
Right. Then again, your picture is going to say something.
Yeah.
On its own, without you slapping it with a voiceover.
Yes.
and telling them what to do.
Yes.
Right? Again, it's a subconscious, emotional connection you want to make with the audience.
Yeah.
Talking about virtual reality and augmented reality, we all know that the technology is coming to the 4D, and then you can actually just put the glasses and you can travel the world. What does it help with to the education purpose? If I want to use that technology to help me engage students and
Well, the advantage is with VR, virtual reality, augmented reality, is especially if it's an immersive where you're using eyewear, optical sensing, you are there in that environment.
Yeah.
Especially if you can make it 3D,
Yes.
right? Most VR that you're watching right now is 2D.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so it's still not that immersive,
Yeah.
but it's about 18 months to 2 years away. It's gonna come. It's coming fast.
Yes, it is.
It's everybody's got a phone. I can go and put this into a 50-cent cardboard piece,
Yeah.
slap it to my face, and see it in 3D.
Yeah.
But what's great about education is that I've heard statistics where if you are watching, I mean, even in 3D, when you watch something in 3D, your connection to the image and your memory of that image of that information is greater.
Yes.
And in augmented reality or virtual reality, it's even greater. I've heard even greater than 60% than just watching it on a standard 2D image. So education is really a key factor, right? For VR. VR is going to assist education,
Yeah.
because one thing is VR it's actually antisocial, because especially with your phone, you're not relating to.
You don't talk to other people.
Yeah, it's like I see it now when I see these teenagers. They're on a date, and they're all talking. They're not even talking to each other. They're just texting on their phone, and they're out on this sort of double date. And can you imagine in 2-3 years from now, you're going to go into a restaurant or a bar or a cafe, and everyone's going to be having this thing on their face, and they're not even going to talk to each other, or they're going to. It's very disconcerting in a way. It's kind of
It really is.
right,
Yeah.
but what do you do? That's why augmented. I mean, that's why they're building lenses with 2 lenses,
Yes.
so that you can walk around with your phone and you can still see you're not bumping into and killing yourself,
Yeah.
right?
It's like a robot.
Yeah, but what do you? I mean, it's happening.
Yeah.
I don't know about 360.
Yeah.
I don't see a purpose of me turning around behind me.
Yeah. Okay.
I see 180
Yeah.
being more. I think 360 right now is a bit of a fad,
Yeah.
because all I want to do is see this,
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
right? And also it allows me to direct, right? If I'm seeing 360 degrees, I'm not directing anymore. I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really directing.
Yeah.
I'm not
So-
doing. I can't do reverse shots. And,
Yeah.
so I'm almost just stick the camera there and walk away.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been shooting VR, and the biggest problem, I'm shooting in VR in Vietnam, and I want to capture the feeling of Vietnam, so I could put my camera, and then I got to go hide around a tree, and then I'm thinking, oh, someone's going to rip off my camera, right?
It is.
So then I got to find a Vietnamese guy that looks like he's supposed to be in the shot to guard the camera,
Yes.
right? Otherwise, it's gone. And so
Yeah. But I heard. Even that's a feeling. But I heard you have a very good stories and what to bring to the world about now Vietnam. Talk about that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm very. When I first came to Vietnam, I didn't know enough about Vietnam. I just knew, there was a war here, and they wore funny hats and
Cone hat.
the cone hats, and I've seen the basket and there's a bunch of really good movies,
Yeah.
right? Apocalypse Now and And that's about it. So, but when I first got here, I was just amazed how energetic and exciting it is.
Yes.
And, and there's a lot of people who have left Vietnam.
Yes.
For, that was a terrible time. I still don't understand why the U.S. were even here.
Yeah.
Right? And it kind of makes me angry to this day. But a lot of people left. Right? Millions of people left.
Yeah.
So I want to do a film about what's happening now in Vietnam.
Yeah.
I want to show them, I want to show all the people that have left. Because I even cut a little sizzle reel together.
Yeah.
And I showed it to some Canadian Vietnamese.
Yeah.
And they went, oh, I love the idea and everything, but I don't like the communist flag at the end.
Yes.
And I'm going, well, this is what's happening in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Right? So what, again, your look at communism is not necessarily an accurate one.
Yeah, and how about your friend, Nguyen, and you use his story to...
Well, yeah, I mean, so the
it.
concept is I have a friend of mine who was born in Canada. His parents left in 1981, and his parents, he has never been here.
Yeah.
I know more about Vietnam than he does.
Yeah.
So this winter, January, him and his parents are coming to Vietnam.
Yes.
So I want to show Vietnam through his eyes.
Yes.
And I want to show Vietnam through to his parents who haven't been here,
yes.
right, in 36 years or 35, 36 years.
Yeah.
So these are, and again, why do I want to do that? I just don't want to show Vietnam. I want to show an emotional context.
Yeah.
So I need to tell the story through his eyes.
Yes.
Right? And again, when you're coming back to commercials and everything like that. So I don't mean to digress, but if I can show and celebrate what Vietnam and all of its accomplishments, all the research I've done about Vietnam, I'm just amazed how resilient Vietnamese people are. You had 1,000 years, right, controlled by the Chinese. Then the French come in for 100 years and just decimate, right? Then the Americans come in. And while that's happening, you have Japan, right? And then right at the very end of 1975, the war's over, you go and liberate Cambodia, right? From Pol Pot. Yeah. Right, we're 3.6 million people. So even with all this turmoil that you guys are in, right, you go and help your neighbors, right? And you rescue them from a tyrant, right, who killed 3.6 million people of his own people.
Yes.
So how can you guys do this? It's a pretty amazing. And yet, you're a developing country. I visit Saigon and I'm seeing a booming city. I go just around the corner and I see all this historical buildings and culture.
Yeah.
And I think I just think it's a story that should be told. And it should be told through the eyes of somebody who's rediscovering their culture.
Okay. Let me conclude. Any question from?
I think that's okay for
okay.
now. Yeah.
Let me conclude. And today we talk about 4 things. The first thing we talk about how to make a commercial and how to make the viral, how to make the film and your story,
Right.
And in how to make a commercial, we focus like the concept, like how to write the stories, the idea or option. After that we make it become a storyboard.
Right.
Yeah. And after that we fix the storyboard, and we choose the production house, like crew and everything.
Yeah. Well, let me just summarize this by saying, whether or not you want to make a commercial or documentary or
feature film
or something for YouTube the best way to learn is to do.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
I talked to people who have never edited before.
Yeah.
And I said, just start cutting.
Yeah.
Right? Here's the basics. Start doing. Just do it.
Yeah.
Right? And you know what? And that's the best way to learn.
Yeah.
Right? Some people may need a structured education. Right?
Yeah.
Because you want to work on your craft. Right? Canada is doing very well in the film industry because they've had tax credits, they have studios, they have people.
Yeah.
And billions of dollars in Toronto alone are being invested putting on big films.
Yeah.
Why? Not because it's warm, not because, it's a beautiful country, but because of the people.
Yes.
They're very talented. And this is what I want to do in Vietnam, right? There's a lot of talented people, but there's no focus.
Yes.
So I tell everyone, if you want to learn, do it. Just do it. Pick up. If you don't have a digital SLR, you don't have a $100,000 cinema camera, you don't need it.
You need a phone.
You need a phone.
Yeah.
Or you need a little camera,
Yeah, it is.
right? Figure out how to record them correctly. Get good audio,
Yeah.
right? And sound is 50% of the picture.
Yes.
So that's my advice: is don't think about it, do it.
Yes. Okay. It's
Right?
nice.
Because you know what? These directors that are making all these big films,
Yeah.
they're terrified every time they do another film.
Yeah.
It's very exciting
Yeah.
for them. People are doing another commercial.
Yeah.
Oh, this is just another commercial. No, they're excited,
Yes.
right? Because they've screwed up in the past. They don't want to screw up again. They want to make excellence.
Yeah.
They want to show people.
Yeah.
So, so I tell everybody, if you make a mistake, so what?
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you
Okay.
for all of you. And the last one, you talk to audience anything about about you and about something
Stay in school.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. And okay, that is our story today. Thank you for all of you to watching it. Thank you. See you next time. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, all of you. Thank you.